Greetings, massive. Yes, just come online to make a quick sports take. I want to talk about the most valuable player, the NFL Most Valuable Player Award that they're going to give out maybe in a few weeks. I'm not exactly sure, but it's been kind of controversial. There's some elements of race that might be involved. I'm just going to make my take on the situation. Okay. For weeks, the leading candidate for most valuable player and clearly the best athlete and quarterback in the NFL, with the possible exception of Patrick Mahomes. It's Lamar Jackson. He's like the ultimate football player. He's a quarterback that can run like a running back. When he first came in the league, they were all saying, oh, he can't pass. And now he's like passing, excelling at an elite level. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson was the Heisman Trophy winner out of Louisville. When he came into the NFL, before the draft, teams were trying to tell him, well, I think you need to play running back or you need to, um, be a defensive back or some ridiculous BS. And he stood his ground and said, you know what, I'm a quarterback. So whoever takes me has to understand I'm going to play quarterback. Okay. And like I said, he was the Heisman Trophy winner, which means he was the best college player in the nation for that year. Okay. So anyway, he comes into the league and he I don't know how long he's played, maybe 6 years, 7 years, but he's already won 2 MVP awards. He's made it as far as the conference final. He's like sets records, and all the media and certain people want to talk about is how, oh well, he can't pass. They want to talk about what he can't do, and pretty much he can do everything at this point. But now the big thing is, well, he's never won a Super Bowl, okay? And we know it's not easy to win a Super Bowl, so to hold that against him is, in my opinion, kind of ridiculous. Okay, I'm saying all this to say that it takes me back to a time when I was younger watching football, and the black quarterback, or lack thereof, was a big issue. And the black quarterback back in the day, like in the 70s, definitely late 60s, all through the 70s, even the 80s, um, you weren't given an opportunity. Either you didn't have the intellect to play the position, or you didn't have this, or you didn't have that. In other words, you weren't white. So that's what it was. And one example, when I was like probably in high school, there was this guy. I'm a Rams fan because I'm from LA. So there was this black quarterback, James Harris. Had everything, size. He was like 6'5", thick, athletic ability, great passing touch, great leader. Okay, he got the rare opportunity to start one season for the Rams, and he led the NFL in passing. Okay, so you think that it was his job, but then he had to compete with this guy Pat Hayden, who was a decent college quarterback on a championship team, a great team. I rooted for Pat Hayden because he was quarterback of my favorite college team, the USC Trojans. But that team was stacked. It wasn't really about him. He kind of managed the situation. But he was small. He just wasn't really a good NFL quarterback, in my opinion. He would have maybe made an okay backup. So he had a brief career, but first bad game James Harris had, and it wasn't his fault. It was the offensive line didn't protect him. They replaced him with Pat Hayden. Pat Hayden won the job. So then fast forward to the 80s, it was huge when Doug Williams, another black man, won the Super Bowl from the quarterback position. That was like a milestone, but still there were very few. Okay, now today there's many, many more black quarterbacks in the getting the opportunity. But my only problem is they don't get the same chances. They don't have the same amount of time to prove themselves. It's like first mistake and you're out, whereas the white counterparts, you know, they give them time and time and time. Like I remember this guy Carson Wentz, and he was good his first couple of years, right? But then he fell off big time. And they just kept every year like, oh, he's gonna turn it around, and a black man would never get that kind of chance. So that's my problem with the way things are today. And then, okay, so back to the MVP. In my opinion, Lamar Jackson is the MVP. He was the MVP for most of the season. But then what got me is Josh Allen, a great quarterback who happens to be white. He had two really good games. Now, one of those games, his team lost, okay? But they don't seem to hold that against a white quarterback. They hold that against a black quarterback. When Lamar's team loses, it's his fault, okay? So anyway, Lamar had been leading in the MVP race for weeks, every week. Josh Allen had a couple good games, and all of a sudden, the media is saying, yeah, I think Josh Allen just locked up the MVP vote. And there were still like six games left in the season. So my thing is, how could Lamar be leading in every category? He was the front runner for weeks. And now all of a sudden this guy has it locked up. They don't even it's not even a competition. So, yeah, so it's just more of the same, things have changed, but the more things change, the more they seem to stay the same. So, yeah, I'm going to be curious to see who wins this award. I have a feeling they're going to give it to Josh. And, like I said, it's nothing against Josh. Josh is a great quarterback. He's, but in my opinion, if it was like two white guys and one white guy was doing what Lamar is doing, they would give it to that white guy. Okay, that's my opinion. Plus, I understand Lamar's already won it twice, so I know people sometimes get bored. That's like why Michael Jordan didn't win more, because people were bored with him winning. But, in my opinion, it should be about what you do on the field. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of, I've been watching the situation, and it just lets me know that, sports is not without universal problems of race, as we found out with Kaepernick. And, sports media, it's like everything else. So, I'm not trying to ramble here, but I just had to make my comment on the MVP situation. So I will be making another sports post soon about my favorite sport, NBA basketball. There's been a lot of talk about how, sales are down, viewership is down, and how the game has changed and getting harder to watch. And so, yeah, as someone that's been watching NBA basketball since the 60s, I actually saw Wilt Chamberlain play live. Dig that. Okay, so I'm going to, at some point, post my comments on the state of NBA basketball. This isn't a sports channel or anything, but, this is just a channel where, I try to promote our music a little bit and just do what I do, So, all right. Love and blessings. Peace. And many prayers to all those in the fire, suffering through the fires in California, right where I live. So anyway, many prayers to those people. Yes, Ja.